Kenya's political season is once again reaching fever pitch. As the country inches closer to the 2027 election cycle, there is high-octane drama, tribal cheerleading, deafening noise. Yet, as always, very little substance. And the electorate, confused, emotional, blown about like reeds in the wind, swayed by whichever politician strikes the right chord, often tribal, frequently divisive, and almost always self-serving. It is a cycle Kenya and Kenyans seem unable or unwilling to break. A chorus of change from familiar faces in new skins. Same tree, just another forest. At the heart of this unfolding drama stands two sharply contrasting figures, bound by the same ambition. As this political theater unfolds once again, two names are beginning to dominate the conversation, both familiar but worlds apart in style, substance, and public perception. On one side, Rigathi Gachagua, a former district officer under the Moi regime, one-time Mathera member of parliament, and until recently Kenya's deputy president, before being dramatically pushed to the sidelines. Blunt, populist, and frequently accused of playing the tribal card. He thrives in moments of disruption, weaponizes grievances, channels those grievances into political capital, and speaks the raw, unfiltered language of the so-called hustler nation. Then there is Fred Matiang'i, propelled into the national spotlight when President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed him ICT minister, marking the beginning of his transformation from technocrat to trusted enforcer. Reserved, strategic, bureaucratic. He doesn't raise his voice, he builds. His tenure across various ministries left a quiet but lasting imprint. Where Gachagua rose in rallies, Matiangi operates in silence. When Gachagua courts emotions, Matiangi leans on institutions. Both are power players, but power doesn't just elevate, it reveals. And in this moment, the contrast couldn't be starker. In 2022, William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua were inseparable, the face of the hustler ticket. But like many political alliances, theirs was transactional at best. Then the cracks began to show. Gachagua grew increasingly combative, clashing with his party's MPs from Mount Kenya.
Mimi naomba ndugu yangu Mboro Mtuamburi, tafadhali mheshimiwa, hawa watu walikuchagua.
Sparring with the president's inner circle and projecting deep political insecurity.
We have a dysfunctional National Intelligence Service that has exposed the president, the government, and the people of Kenya.
His infamous shareholders of government speech didn't cause the fallout, but it captured the mood, a man at odds with his camp, fighting to assert relevance. This quickly shifted him from being a deputy to a disruptor, and eventually to an outcast. When dissolution the youth poured into the streets in 2024, angry and fed up, Gachagua spotted an opportunity. Critics accused him of trying to hijack the protest, not to drive change, but to position himself for power. He turned on Ruto's inner circle, cast himself as the defender of the constitution, and perhaps the heir in waiting. But it didn't end well for him. When the axe fell, it fell hard. A public, unceremonious impeachment that left no doubt about his fall from grace. But in politics, memory is long. The tree always remembers the axe. and so perhaps does Mount Kenya. For Matiangi, after the 2022 elections, Matiangi disappeared out of power, out of the headlines for a while. But in Kenyan politics, silence is rarely retirement. He wasn't shouting, he was waiting. To many professionals, civil servants, and even development partners, Matiangi remains a reference point: order, competence, and stability. He doesn't win crowds, he wins confidence. At the ICT ministry, he helped lay the groundwork for digital migration, streamlining processes and enhancing service delivery. Despite initial resistance from powerful media houses, he steered the rollout of digital migration, thereby modernizing Kenya's broadcasting landscape. At the education ministry, he tackled rampant exam cheating head-on, restoring credibility to national examinations and shaking up entrenched cartels.
I want to know what the 3.7 million ilienda wapi na imefanya nini. That's the report. This is not what I expect. You should be able to give him a report.
And at the Interior Ministry, he became known for swift, decisive action, from curbing illegal brews to enforcing the rule of law with an iron grip.
Determining who has to come here. You are talking about scanners, and then you're talking about someone guiding them here. Who decides that he should come here and I should not?
Where Gachagua's currency is tribal identity, Matiangi trades in performance. He speaks softly, but his track record speaks volumes. For President Ruto, the presence of these two gentlemen is a chessboard with no easy moves. If Gachagua fractures the mountain and Matiangi consolidates establishment confidence, Ruto is flanked. From below and from above, two rivals, one loud, one quiet, both calculating, both dangerous. 2027 may not be a contest of ideas, but of betrayal. Old alliances are fracturing, new ambitions are rising, and in Kenyan politics, the knife often comes before the handshake. For a very, very long time, Kenyans have been promised change for decades, but every promise arrives dressed in different colors, wrapped around in the same old struggles. Now, the winds are stirring again. Gen Z stands restless, ready to flood the streets, not for chance, but for jobs. The middle class walks a tightrope of debt, taxed hard, thanked little. The price of life rises, slowly, cruelly, one receipt at a time. And Wanjiko, still waiting for the bottom to lift her up. The air is thick with frustration, the ground trembles with expectation. Gachagua speaks in fire, of identity, of defiance. Matiangi moves in stone, measured, methodical, and sure. One offers rapture, the other repair. But Kenya is tired of songs without actions, rallies without results. Maybe, just maybe, what this country longs for now is not noise, but delivery. And whoever feeds that hunger wins. So, who do Kenyans truly deserve? Rigathi Gachagua, the self-declared truth teller, the ethnic firebrand, sidelined but unbowed, a fallen prince of the mountain still wielding tribal loyalty and political firepower. Fred Matiang'i, the silent operator, disciplined as a surgeon, marked by the system he once served. He doesn't chase the spotlight, but he hasn't left the stage. Or will President Ruto, master of political survival, reinvent himself yet again outplay them both and hold on to the crown. Kenya's 2027 election won't just choose a president, it will reveal what kind of a country we've become and what we are still willing to tolerate. This isn't merely a contest of personalities. It's a mirror held up to our frustrations, our fatigue, and our fragile hopes.